what I did and what I used to modify the exhaust to get a little deeper sound out of my Yamaha 1100 V-Star Classic. Get some needle nose pliers, various kinds. Also a good set of heavy dikes. Something else that I used was an air-driven grinder. This was pretty important for cleaning up the edges. And I've got various types of wheels here. Cut-off wheels, my safety glasses, Allen wrenches, socket wrenches, good set of vice grips. Got some Perma Oxy. You need a Dremel tool. One of the other things that I like to keep in the shop all the time is brake cleaner. Either a regular flashlight or one of these headlight deals. Something else that's real important is safety gloves. What I use are Wells Lamont leather outers. Then I just get some of these little brown inserts. Get a box in your shop. Keep all your receipts in it. Get a bunch of these little bags. They come in bulk, they're cheap, and they're worth their weight in gold. Just get you some Sharpies, a thin one and a fat one for marking metal and for marking your bags. Put your little parts in there. Put your parts in your little box. That way you don't lose the stuff later on. Don't leave stuff laying on the floor. And, you lose stuff and it's just not cool. These clamps are great. The longer they are, the better they are, within reason. I used these in a small piece of wood so that I could clamp my pipes down onto a bread basket so that I could do the cutting, the initial cut. Now, what I used to make the initial cut is a Makita wheel grinder. This is a 4.5 inch diameter, but I put a 7-inch blade on it. It's a metal blade. They're real cheap at Lowe's, and you can do it yourself, or you can take the pipes to like a metal shop and have them cut it off on a bandsaw. If I wanted to spend the money, I would have done that if I'd wanted to take the time, but I didn't want to wait. Cut off wheels for the Dremel. Get the diamond blades. Might want to pick up a couple extra mandrels too, because I found out that the Dremel tool, the mandrel itself, the small shaft with the screw in the end of it, when you work it real hard, the screw has a tendency to bust off the end. Also, for cleaning up the pipes, you want to pick up some emery cloth. The other thing that I did was I wanted to make my cut a down slash. So you can also do a side slash. From the end of the pipe, to the baffle plate is 8 inches. Okay, I measured in 7.5 inches, wrapped my tape, and I made my initial cuts. It's kind of tricky to figure out how to get them both even, but I'll show you how to do that. I found out that doing them with a down slash was easier than doing the side slash when I started my measurement. What I used to get the lines really right on the pipes was a rubber band. Take your time when you do this. Don't rush through it. Especially don't rush through that initial cut. You're going to want to get started. But, I studied for probably 3 or 4 days about this modification before I went ahead and did it. There's a website that you can go to. It's www.650ccnd.com / and then the word / .htm. So let's get started. I placed some rubber bands around the pipes to give me the angle that I want. And now I drew on them with a black magic marker. I'm going to cut the rubber bands away because that the Sharpie rubs off. The way that I made sure that I had a decent angle was I used a business card to kind of line the two of them up, just make sure that they kind of looked like they met. Okay, after I took off the rubber bands, I put some duct tape along there. I'm hoping that it'll stop the chrome from chipping. It should hold up pretty good, but it's just a little extra measure. And there's the pipes. Those are the final exhaust pipes coming out of there. That's the actual size of the exhaust pipes. And it looks like the chrome has fared pretty well. So we'll get them up on the bench and get a closer look at them. You need to drill 4 half-inch holes. You can see those 4 holes that I busted in the end of the pipe in that baffle. Instead, I was going to make a punch out of this giant nail. I ground the end of it down and it punched right through the baffle. So I put 4 holes in there. But while I was punching the holes in there, it made this inner pipe slide in this direction. So what I did was I just took a big old screwdriver and pushed it back through the other way. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my grinder and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this off flat so that it can't be seen. This portion is inside of your chrome exhaust pipe, and then you actually have a cylinder in there that has some separate baffles in it. Okay? If you can get this portion to move, if you can get this portion to slide in and out of the actual pipe, slide around, get something, put it down through here, see if you can get those to move back and forth, because if you can get this to move, it's going to make this project a whole lot easier. You want to plug this hole, and you want to plug this hole. I'm going to take some steel, and I'm going to cut a couple plugs. I'm just going to cut off a chunk of that piece of steel with my torches, and then I'm going to go ahead and use the bench grinder to just make them as round as I can. Fresh out of the oven, still a little bit warm. Okay, I got my plugs on, and they've got the JB Weld or whatever that epoxy stuff is. It's Perma Oxy is the stuff that I used. Okay, I used a tack welder, put a little bitty tack in the pipes. See, there's one right there to hold that piece in. And then I took some of this Rust-Oleum high heat paint, painted the inside of the holes, cover up all the dings and scratches and everything.